You've probably been here before. You're talking to a woman, things seem to be going well, and then someone tells you, or you overhear, something she said about you. And suddenly, everything shifts. Maybe she told her friends she's not sure about you. Maybe she mentioned something you did that bothered her. Or maybe she just sounded uncertain. And now you're stuck replaying every word, trying to figure out what it means. Here's what I need you to understand. That feeling, that confusion, that anxiety, it's not random. It comes from one mistake almost every man makes. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because there's a pattern to how women talk about men with their friends, a psychology behind the words she chooses. And what most men don't realize is that the things that sound the worst, they often mean the opposite of what you think. But it's not as simple as she says this. So she means that there are 5 specific categories of things women say, and each one reveals something completely different about how she actually feels. Some of them will surprise you. Some of them will change how you interpret every conversation she has about you. Today I'm breaking down all 5. By the end, you'll know exactly how to read what she says to her friends and what it really means underneath. Now, before I go any further, let me be clear about something. This isn't about teaching you to manipulate anyone. It's not about playing games or trying to spy on her private conversations. This is about understanding. Because when you understand how women process emotions, especially emotions about men they're interested in, you stop reacting from confusion. You stop making decisions based on incomplete information. And you stop driving yourself crazy trying to decode something you were never supposed to take literally. I'm going to share things with you that women talk about with each other but rarely explain to men. Not because we're hiding anything, but because most of us don't even realize we do it until someone points it out. So if you're ready to finally understand what's actually happening when she talks about you, not what it sounds like, but what it means, let's get into it. Here's the thing. Most men don't realize. When a woman talks to her friends about a guy, she's not giving a report. She's not stating facts. She's thinking out loud. And the way women think out loud is very different from how men do it. When you're confused about a situation, you might talk to a friend to get advice, to solve the problem, to figure out what to do next. But when a woman talks to her friends about you, she's not looking for answers. She's processing how she feels by saying it out loud and watching how her friends react. That's why her words can sound so contradictory. One day she tells her friend she's not sure about you. The next day she's texting you like nothing's wrong. And you're sitting there thinking, what changed? Nothing changed. She was never unsure in the way you think she was. She was testing her own feelings by putting them into words. And here's where most men make a critical mistake. They hear what she said, secondhand, through a friend, or even directly, and they take it as her final answer. They react. They either pull away because they think she's losing interest, or they chase harder because they think they need to prove themselves. Both responses come from the same place: misunderstanding what her words actually mean. So let me break this down for you. I'm going to walk you through 5 specific things women commonly say to their friends about men. For each one, I'll explain what it sounds like on the surface, what it actually reveals about how she feels, and what you should do when you hear it. Some of these are going to surprise you. A few might even frustrate you. But by the end, you'll have a completely different understanding of how to read the words she uses, and what's really going on underneath. Let's start with the first one. This is one of the most common things women say to their friends when they're in the early stages with someone. I don't know about him. I'm not sure yet. I can't figure him out. And when men hear this, especially secondhand, they usually interpret it as a bad sign. Like she's on the fence. Like she's about to lose interest. Like he needs to do something to win her over. But here's what's actually happening. When a woman says, I don't know about him, it almost always means she's thinking about him a lot. If she wasn't interested, she wouldn't be talking about you at all. She'd just move on. No analysis. No processing with friends. No trying to figure you out. The uncertainty she's expressing isn't doubt about whether she likes you. It's doubt about whether she should let herself like you. There's a difference. See, women are careful with their emotions, especially early on. And when a woman starts feeling something for a man she doesn't fully understand yet, her first instinct isn't to dive in. It's to slow down, to analyze, to talk it out with her friends and see if they can help her make sense of it. That's what I don't know about him really is. It's her trying to protect herself from getting hurt, because she already feels something worth protecting. So what should you do if you hear this? Nothing. Seriously. Don't try to prove yourself. Don't over-explain. Don't chase harder. The worst thing you can do when a woman is processing her feelings is pressure her into a conclusion. Instead, stay steady. Keep being the version of yourself that got her attention in the first place. Give her space to figure it out, because that space is where attraction grows. The men who understand this don't panic when they hear uncertainty. They recognize it for what it is. A sign that she's emotionally invested enough to be cautious. And that's not rejection. That's the opposite. Now let's talk about something that sounds a lot worse on the surface. He's nice. But I like him. But he's great. But that word, but, feels like a death sentence when you hear it. Like everything before it was just a polite setup for rejection. And a lot of men, when they find out she said something like this, immediately assume she's not that into them. But here's what you need to understand about how women communicate. When a woman says but after a compliment, she's not dismissing you. She's working through a contradiction in her own mind. She likes something about you. That part is real. But something else is creating friction. And instead of ignoring that friction, she's talking it out. This is actually a good sign. Because women don't bother analyzing men they're not interested in. If she didn't care, there would be no but. There would just be silence. Or a flat he's okay. I guess with no emotional weight behind it. The but means she's invested enough to notice details. To have opinions. To want things to work out. But also to be honest about what's bothering her. Now here's the key. What comes after the but tells you exactly what she needs. He's nice. But he texts too much. She's feeling smothered. Pull back. He's great. But I can't tell if he's serious. She wants clarity. Show intent. I like him, but he's so hard to read. She's unsure where she stands. Give her something real. These aren't complaints designed to push you away. They're clues. She's literally telling her friends, and indirectly, you tell Ski, what's missing for her. The men who learn to hear these clues, instead of reacting to the but, have a massive advantage. Because instead of guessing what went wrong, they know exactly what to adjust. So if you ever hear she said, he's nice, but don't panic. Listen to what came after. That's where the answer is. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Sometimes a woman will say something that sounds like flat-out rejection. I'm not sure I even like him. I don't think I'm into him. He's not really my type. And when you hear this, whether through a friend or because she said it directly, your gut reaction is probably to give up, to assume it's over, to think, well, that's pretty clear. But here's what most men don't understand about how women protect themselves emotionally. When a woman says, I'm not sure I like him, she's often not describing her feelings. She's defending against them. Let me explain. Women are taught from a young age to be careful with their emotions. to not get too invested too fast, to protect their hearts. And one of the most common ways women do this is by downplaying how they feel, especially to their friends, and especially when those feelings scare them. So I'm not sure I like him can actually mean, I like him more than I'm comfortable with. It's not rejection. It's armor. Think about it. If she genuinely wasn't interested, why would she bring you up at all? Why would she need to convince her friends and herself that she doesn't like you? Indifference doesn't require explanation. Only strong feelings do. This connects back to what we talked about earlier. Uncertainty is often a sign of emotional investment, not a lack of it. And when that uncertainty turns into outright denial, that's usually a sign the feelings are even stronger than she's ready to admit. Now, here's what to do with this information. Don't confront her. Don't try to convince her she likes you. That will backfire immediately. Instead, understand that her walls are up because something about you got past them. Your job isn't to tear those walls down. It's to stay consistent, stay grounded, and let her come to terms with her own feelings in her own time. The men who do this, they're the ones women eventually stop fighting against and start falling. This one is subtle, but once you see it, you'll never miss it again. Pay attention to when a woman tells her friends a story about you. Not a complaint. Not an analysis. A story. He did this thing the other day. You won't believe what he said. So we were texting and the story itself might sound neutral or even negative. But here's what most men completely overlook. The fact that she's telling it at all. When a woman recounts specific moments about you to her friends, it means those moments stuck with her. They meant something. She replayed them in her head enough times that they became worth sharing. And here's the key. The more detail she includes, the more significant you are to her. Think about how you talk about people you don't care about. You don't remember what they said word for word. You don't describe the look on their face or the tone of their voice. You summarize. You move on. But when someone matters to you, you remember everything. The small things, the pauses, the way they made you feel in that exact moment. And when you tell someone else about it, all those details come out because they're burned into your memory. That's what's happening when she tells her friends a story about you. She's not just recounting an event. She's reliving it. And the fact that she wants to relive it with her friends, that's a sign you've taken up space in her mind. Now, here's the part most men miss. Sometimes these stories sound like complaints. He said this weird thing. He took forever to respond. He was acting kind of distant. But listen to the energy behind it. Is she frustrated? Or is she fascinated? Is she venting? Or is she trying to decode you? Because when a woman is genuinely uninterested, she doesn't decode. She doesn't analyze. She doesn't bring you up at all. So if she's telling stories about you, good, bad, or confusing, understand what that means. You're on her mind. And that's not a small thing. This last one might be the most misunderstood of all. I don't care anymore. I'm over it. Whatever happens, happens. He can do what he wants. When a woman says something like this to her friends, most men hear finality. They hear closure. They think, okay, she's done. Time to move on. But here's the thing about statements like I don't care anymore. They're almost never true when they're spoken out loud. Think about it. When you genuinely don't care about something, you don't announce it. You just don't care. There's no need to say it. No need to convince anyone, including yourself. But when someone feels the need to declare their indifference, that's usually because they're trying to convince themselves it's true. And the harder they try to convince, the less true it actually is. This is what I call the overclaim paradox. The louder someone proclaims they don't care, the more they probably do. When a woman tells her friend she's over it, she's not describing how she feels. She's trying to create distance between herself and feelings that are still very much alive. It's protection, the same kind we talked about earlier. And the fact that she has to protect herself at all tells you something important. She still cares. Now, here's where most men make a critical error. When they hear "I don't care anymore," they take it at face value and disappear. They stop reaching out. They assume it's done, and sometimes, that's exactly what she was hoping for. Not because she wanted you gone, but because she wanted to see if you'd fight for her. That doesn't mean you should chase. It means you should pay attention to actions, not words. Is she really acting like she doesn't care? Or is she watching to see what you'll do next? Because silence that watches is very different from silence that moves on. And if you can learn to tell the difference, you'll understand her better than she understands herself. Now here's the part most people won't tell you, because it sounds almost too simple to be true. If a woman is talking about you to her friends at all, you're already ahead of most men. It doesn't matter if she's uncertain. It doesn't matter if she's complaining. It doesn't matter if she says she doesn't care, or she's not sure, or she's over it. What matters is that you're on her mind. And you're on her mind enough that she felt the need to bring you up, process you, analyze you, and talk you through with the people she trusts most. That's not rejection. That's attention. That's space in her head. That's emotional investment, whether she admits it or not. The real rejection: silence. When a woman is genuinely uninterested, she doesn't talk about you. She doesn't wonder about you. She doesn't try to figure you out. She just forgets you exist. There's no story, no processing, no friends nodding along while she explains what you did or didn't do. Silence is how women reject men they feel nothing for. So the next time you hear that she said something about you, good, bad, confusing, whatever, remember this. The opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. And if she's talking about you, she's not indifferent. That means you still have a chance, not to chase, not to beg, but to show up as the man worth thinking about and let her figure out the rest. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever found out what a woman said about you to her friends and completely misread what it meant? Maybe you panicked when you should have stayed calm. Maybe you pulled away when she was actually waiting to see if you'd stay. Or maybe you're realizing right now that something she said wasn't rejection at all. Drop a comment below and tell me your story. I read every single one, and honestly, some of the best insights I share come from real experiences just like yours. This isn't just a video, it's a conversation. And your perspective matters. Because here's the bigger picture. This isn't just about decoding one woman or figuring out one situation. It's about understanding how connection actually works. It's about learning to read what people mean instead of just what they say. And it's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't panic, doesn't chase, and doesn't lose himself trying to figure out where he stands. That kind of clarity, it changes everything, not just in dating, but in how you carry yourself through life. So if this video helped you see things differently, subscribe and hit the notification bell. There's a lot more coming, and I promise, it only gets more useful from here. Until next time, stay grounded, stay patient, and remember, if she's talking about you, you're already on her mind. That's not a problem. That's a start.